I decide to go at it the purist's way. Forget the GPS and follow the trail signs. Ask locals when I'm lost. Stop in villages as I go. Eventually, the trail leads me to the front of a momentous battle. Inside this refuge, a local man has created a homemade museum to the conflict. Everything here gathered within a 10-mile radius. These are the relics of World War I. Between 1915 and 1918, hundreds of thousands of soldiers died fighting for control of these mountainous regions. The memory of the era largely gone. Back outside, the trail climbs past livestock, the bells on their necks alerting the rancher of the herd's location. Like the Buddhist chants in the Himalayas, the puja shells blown in India, or the call to prayer in the Muslim world, it's an unmistakable, evocative sound. It's the sound of summer in the Alps, and it is music to my ears. I press on up towards the pass, where some of the heaviest fighting took place. To give you an idea of how close and how technical the fighting was, that largest peak up there was held by the Italians, and all these adjacent peaks by the Austrians. To give you an idea of how ferocious the fighting was, the Italian peak is said to have lost 6 meters during the conflict from the constant bombardment. Can you imagine fighting a war in these conditions? Up at the pass, a cold wind blows, even in the summer months. I imagine the soldiers spending winter here, under-equipped and underfed. These old trenches must have been miserable to live and fight out of. And sometimes, if you dig around, you can find some artifacts from the war. Look at Madoska. Look at that, Mamma Mia. Looks like a grenade. I don't know. I guess I'll just put it back. What am I gonna do with an old grenade? So just how did these two armies manage to fight on these steep peaks? I'll tell you after a little cliffhanger. This is what enabled them to do it. Cables bolted into all the ranges along the border. As is often in life, what was one person's misery now becomes another's pleasure. What allowed soldiers to spend some of their most bitter months in these mountains now allows the traveler to spend some of their best days. It's a unique mixture of hiking and mild climbing called Via Ferrata, or the Cable Way. But the mountains can turn deadly quick. It's imperative to keep an eye on the weather and have the right gear. This is the typical ferrata setup. You always want to have one carabiner on the cable. When you come to a brace, you put the next one in, take this off. I carry it in my thumb so I can use my hand and it's ready to go. If you do fall, this harness is designed to slide a little bit, which will diminish the shock load so it neither breaks your hip or your security. Nature, of course, needs no cable or tools. My companions, the marmots and birds, perfectly adapted to the terrain. I love the Via Ferrata. It allows you to pass more extreme terrain than you could hike and gives you a solid full-body workout. But it's more simple and accessible than technical climbing. With just a little instruction and a dash of stamina, anyone can do it from day one. But sections like these are a good reminder. When you see a cable, you should always be clipped into it.
Woo-wee! Been around the world, but I'll tell you what, Dolomites are something special. But those clouds have been developing since I started to climb, and at this altitude, it's serious business. Just last week, I heard a woman froze to death. She got caught up here, got whited out, decided to hunker down, and she froze to death over the night. If the cloud's up, you gotta either find proper shelter or descend immediately. But we're cool for now. I'll sit down and enjoy this.
One unique aspect of walking through the European mountains are the presence of refugios, which provide both room and board.
If you stop in one, you absolutely must get my favorite, apple strudel. If it's made the right way with the creme, it'll knock your socks off. Good one. Holy cannoli. That's good.
The camaraderie and fun you'll have in these mountain refuges certainly adds a little levity to a journey. Back on the trail, I descend a bit, where the way passes through tiny mountain communities and quaint village homes. Everything is in bloom.